Cardano, aka ADA, a beast of a project. Oh my lord, it's going to be one of the major competitors to Ethereum, and Binance Smart Chain, not Smart Chain, it is Smart Chain, BSC. It's one of the biggest players in the space. They've been building like crazy for many years, and I think they're going to do some amazing work, especially in Africa and Asia, and listen to Charles Hoskinson and his vision. It's beautiful. But today we're going to park that aside. We're going to look at what are the technicals, Jagir. Let me know the technicals. What's the psychology of the markets where I can have a high probability entry point, high probability exit point to make money, because we're in the business of making money, and we want to find those high probability setups as where we can. And also, if you're in ADA, how to best manage your position so you can anticipate what's likely to occur next. So if you like today's video, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, which will be somewhere over here. If you don't know me by now, my name is Jagir. I'm the award-winning author of The Extraordinary New Venture Capital Opportunity, How to Invest Like a Pro. I've also been trading crypto for a few years now, but I've been trading currencies, and the same principles apply for over 15 years. And I was featured in this best-selling book, High Probability Trading Strategies, back in 2008. And I want to bring that knowledge and wisdom to you. So let's look at the weekly chart first. Now, I'm going to just pull up the momentum on the weekly chart. These just look like random lines, right? The main thing we want to take attention to, or pay attention to, is that the momentum is on the low side, which means when it's pulling up, we should expect upside movement. So we want to be looking for trades on the upside, because the trend is your friend, and you want to ride it until its end, until it reaches its bend. So that's the weekly chart. But now I want to focus on the daily chart for the chart pattern. Now we normally use candlesticks, which looks like this. But I wanted to just bring up the line data, which is the closing price of each day, and use this to give us helpful information on what's likely to occur next with ADA. Now look, we want to put aside our biases. Yeah, because if you hold Cardano, obviously you want it to go up, right? Obviously. If I hold Cardano, which I don't at the moment, but if I did earlier on this year, because I sold it, when did I sell it? I sold it, I think I sold it around here. Made some good profits. I think it was a 4, 5, 6x with Cardano. But if you're holding it, you're naturally going to be optimistic and find reasons for it to go up. It's going to go up, it's going to go up, it's brilliant, it's going to go up. But when you're looking at pure technicals, it doesn't really factor in. It's all based on buying and selling. If more people are buying than selling, price goes up. If more people are selling than buying, price goes down. We want to understand those simple mechanics. And when people are feeling fearful, and often it could be related to many things, people sell. And when they're feeling optimistic, and often it's reflected in the chart pattern, more often than not. And when it is, we want to take that opportunity. So let's just do a quick analysis on ADA. So I'm going to put this as a wave 1. We don't need to get too analytical on, is this a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which it probably is. That's what it looks like. But the main thing I want to focus on is how many corrections, how many legs, how many moves to the downside is a typical correction as a minimum that we should anticipate. Well, if you've seen my free crypto trading masterclass, which is in the link below, I cover Elliott Wave theory, which is what we're talking about here. And you should know that is a minimum of 3, and it's labeled as an A, B, C. So what do we see here? Right, if I just zoom in, right, if we just put our biases aside and just say, right, how many legs down do you see, right? Well, I only see one, right? I only see one, which is this, right? Well, we've seen this one leg here. We look like we're making the second leg here. So we should anticipate a third leg to the downside. That's just the nature of it. Look, I'm just the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. Look, I'm just saying. Right? This is what's likely to occur, not guaranteed, because anything can happen. We don't have control over the markets, but what we're looking to do when it comes to technical analysis is get the probability in our favor and only enter when the probability is looking really sweet, where we've got pattern, time, price, and momentum on our side. We want to ride that trend until it reaches its end and turns. So if we just get rid of these. So this looks like a nice A. It looks like a B is forming and then a C. So what we want to take into account today is the weekly momentum's on the upside, and look at this daily momentum. It's now made the blue line. If I just double click it and then I'll zoom in for you, this blue line has crossed the red line, which says we should see some upward movement for at least a few days, but because of the weekly, maybe even a few weeks. So we want to take that into account. So then that gives us valuable information to help us go, okay, what's a typical wave B? So let me just label this for you. Let me label this for you so you're clear. because otherwise if I'm just talking about A, B's and C's, you might be seeing something different, especially if you're not used to this, because everything is difficult before it is easy. That's just natural, and everything takes practice. But when you can make good money, it's worth the effort, right? It's worth the effort, right? Because money is important to sustain life, and that's what we're about over here. So wave B, right? This is what we're looking at. So I'm just going to remove these waves for a second, and I just want to get my thinking very clear across to you. So what I'm looking for is a typical wave B corrects. I'm just going to pull this across, keep it nice and clean. Yeah, and I'm going to keep with the closing price data because it makes it, it's actually gives you slightly more accurate figures. These are the 3 typical correction zones, right? This is like a correction to the correction. Wave B is a correction to the wave A, but is a correction within the correction of an A, B, C. Whew, mouthful, right? All right, so we should expect an A, B, C as a minimum, right? But the weekly is up, so is this going to turn into a complex correction, which is anything above 3 waves? It could be an A, B, C, D, E. We're not sure yet. Well, another thing we want to take into account, a minimum correction time taken should be at least 50% of a wave A. So if I measure this, and this blue line here, it says this is the 50% of the time, and we've gone beyond that. So that's a good sign. So what I'm going to do lastly on ADA is let's just jump into a 4-hour chart. All right, I'm going to jump into a 4-hour chart. So you can see it's the same. We're going back to candlesticks now. But this was what we were labeling as a wave A, right? And then this looks like an A, B, C. And then we've got this move to the downside. So I would actually just give it space. I would actually give it a few days to see how it unfolds, because the momentum suggests that we should see this upside exceeded. So this could be a wave B. But my gut feeling is that we're probably going to see some upside movement, but we're not going to exceed this wave 1 high. Not yet anyway. So this over here, exceeding this point here, would confirm the correction is complete. That's our first big confirmation. So if I just jump back into a daily chart, this is me just doing live thinking how I think about it. Because look, when there's no obvious pattern, like I wouldn't trade this right now because it's in kind of no man's land. It's not really clear, because what I'm anticipating is, like I said before, is that we'll get a C correction, right? And then what would I anticipate with that wave C correction is the following. I'll take a low, which is this beginning of this wave 1 to this high. Just move this out of the way. Right, and we're going to expect a correction, and it will typically be, again, 50%, 61 or 78.6% retracement of this wave 1 up. And it doesn't look like we've made those 3 legs down. So I would actually be looking for a short position. Funny enough, I'll be looking for a short position, but not yet, because the weekly momentum's up, the daily momentum's up, and the trend is your friend. You want to ride it until its end, until it reaches its bend. So where is ADA? We need to keep a close eye on it. We need to keep a close eye on it. I would, if you're holding ADA, I would definitely hold it until at least the daily momentum. You know, and the bigger, grander scheme of things, I think ADA is going to do incredibly well. But it's likely at some stage we may see a pullback to the, let's just call it the 62%, which is around 90 cents. 90 cents. When would that happen? I don't know. I don't think for the next 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe even 6 weeks, because the weekly momentum is on the upside. So we may just end up seeing a complex correction, which will kind of hover around, and it might go up and down in between. But it's not clear right now. When the chart pattern is not clear, I stand aside. There's 3 positions you can take when it comes to crypto trading. There's buying, there's selling, and there's sitting on your hands, which is standing aside. So there you have it. An update. You requested it. I brought it to you. There's quite a few of that requested it. Do watch my free crypto trading masterclass. It's in the link below, because I cover the Elliott Wave theory in a bit more. The theory. And then when we do these videos, it's the practical. And then you want to know how to take advantage of those as well. So quote of the day. I'm going to do this one off the top of my head. Quote of the day. You and your world are composed of your thoughts. The wise man and woman controls their thoughts. You and your world are composed of your thoughts. The wise man and woman controls their thoughts.